even Apple, you see the first Apple store, Harley Davidson, how they start out?
Yeah.
You got to have vision.
I love documentaries. In 2021, we exploded. In 2022, we killed it. In 2023, we just had a banner year. And here we are in 2024, and we're starting with a brand new company. And, the last 3 months, we put up almost 55 listings, which is unbelievable.
Okay, I'm Mike Cruz, and this is Mike Cruz Unadulterated. Today I have a very special guest that we go way back 20 plus years, Tony.
20-something years,
yes,
Michael.
Yes, Mr. Tony Briguglio.
Wow, you said it perfect. I love that.
I got a little Italian in me.
If you didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a good guy.
Yeah.
Tony, what's going on, man?
Yeah, so we always talk about the car business and how great it was for us.
Yeah.
I got in the car business in 1983, a couple of years after high school.
Where was your first place, Tony?
Babylon Nissan.
And where was that in Babylon?
Right in Babylon on Main Street.
Is that where Babylon Honda is now?
Yes.
That was Nissan.
Yep, it was Nissan.
Wow.
It was great.
Holy shit. How old are you?
62.
So that was 1962?
No, I'm born in 62.
Oh, 62. So how old are you when you started there?
83. 23, maybe.
Wow, man. Yeah. What'd you do before that?
I had an underground lawn sprinkler company. I owned a deli. I had a landscaping company. So I was, I had to do something in the wintertime because I couldn't do the sprinklers. So I got into the deli business. And then I couldn't work every day with my wife. So it was very tough. We were both trying to run the store at the same time. So I just said, I'm going to go sell cars.
And you just walked in there?
Just walked in there, never wore a suit, never wore a tie, never wore a dress shirt. I had hands calluses that were as thick as calzones. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was insane.
Wow. So now you first started selling cars. So how far did you advance and how quick did you advance in the car business?
I would say I was there 2 weeks in the middle of the month. And by the end of that month, I was a salesperson of the month. I just annihilated everybody. Yeah, I remember I was selling sprinklers. I was selling landscaping.
Yeah.
A guy came in for a pack of cigarettes at the deli, I would bump him up to milk and bread and coffee. I was always a natural salesperson that way. So, and then it took me about 1.5 years to become on the desk.
A sales manager, basically.
Yeah, okay. I was a sales manager. So, and then I wore a bolero suit. I didn't even know what I was doing. So funny. I didn't even know how to wear a regular suit.
And so back then in the car business, it was on-the-job training. You went in and they taught you on the floor, here, read a pamphlet, do a walk around, right?
Yeah, you had to do walkarounds. They didn't give you any training. You just had to figure it out. They didn't teach you anything. And Datsun was Datsun then. It wasn't even Nissan at that point.
Oh, it was Datsun? So Babylon Datsun.
Yeah, it wasn't even Nissan at that point. It was just transitioning into Nissan at that point. So it was a B210 you sold. Stick shift, no air.
Oh, the truck?
No radios. No, it was a regular car.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And they were cheap. How were back then? What were the prices?
$3,800.
Jesus. And what is it now?
30,000.
Jesus. Man.
But the beautiful thing about those cars then, they didn't come with air, they didn't come with radios.
So they had upsell. It was an upsell.
You had no choice but to upsell. Yeah. So you'd say, all right, you want air conditioning? They're like, of course. Okay, it's 3,800. Did you want a radio? Yeah, definitely. All right, it's another 600. By the way, did you want speakers with the radio? And they'd be like, of course we want speakers. All right, you want front or back? Well, we want front and back. Oh, well, that's another 1,200. You just...
Floor mats? Oh, you need floor... They don't come with floor mats?
No floor mats.
It's not a window sticker. No, sorry.
No floor mats. And the funny thing is, interest rates were around 21%. That was your average interest rate.
Wow.
Financing wasn't that big. A lot of people paid cash, but the car business was just a wild west in the 80s.
So you had a good time in the car business because you were there when the leasing first came out.
Yes.
And how that was definitely a boom for the car business.
It was so... People didn't get it at first. You had to explain every single step of a lease to them. But when they got it and they saw that their finance payment was $500 and their lease payment was $120, they took it. They just went crazy. It was great.
So I came in after that, but I would hear stories of, listen, salesman.
Salesman.
So people's like, oh, I bought my car for 120 a month. I'm like, what? They're like, no, I bought it. They went back 3 years later. Like, no, you leased it. You have to give it back.
Right, you have to give it back.
And then that finance guy who did that paperwork has been to 20 other dealerships since that car was sold.
Probably Matt, guy named Matt.
I don't know. I don't even remember the name.
No, we call everybody Matt.
Oh, that was his name?
Yeah.
Oh, that was his name, Matt? Holy shit, man. What a wild business.
Crazy.
Wild, right?
Everybody thought they were financing and they weren't. They were leasing. That's how they first started out.
Did you see the lawsuits coming through all that stuff?
No.
Really?
People understood. After a while, they understood.
Oh, you get another car? 3 years?
Yeah.
And your payment's cheaper.
And your payment's cheaper, and you don't have to give us any money this time.
And I give you a pair of floor mats for free.
Yeah, remember, there was no used car business back then.
Really?
Nothing.
So the leasing definitely generated the used car business. Yeah. Because the car's coming back into the market.
Barco, if you remember.
Barco leasing, yeah. Baron Condo, right?
Yeah.
It was Baron Condo, yeah.
It was huge.
I remember.
Yeah, so it was, if you did, 5 or 6 used cars a month, you were huge. You never made room in your lot for it. You never anticipated it. You just took everything to the auction at that point.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
Crazy.
Wow, shit.
Yeah.
So, Tony, you did cars.
Yep.
You were salesman, sales manager.
GM.
What was your first GM position? Where was it?
Five Town Toyota.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Over down there?
All the way, Peninsula Boulevard, every single morning in traffic. I used to take Long Beach a lot just to go
around Loop? You took the Loop Parkway around?
I had to. Yeah. It's just crazy. When it rained, it snowed. I was out there for years. Because I was at Five Town Nissan for probably 3 or 4 years before they decided to give me Toyota.
At that time, it was owned by the same person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so owned by the same person.
Okay. And then, wow, that's wild. I never knew that. I never knew that was your first GM position was Toyota.
GM,
Wow. I worked there for 6 years. Yeah, I worked there, man. It was a good store. That was a good area.
It was a great area.
Yeah, it was a great area. There's no more Toyota. Toyota's gone now. They're on Sunrise Highway now, right?
Yeah.
They're on Sunrise.
Yeah, they split it up between that and Valley Stream or something.
Because there was another Toyota store that went out of business at one point, right?
Well, the Five Towns went out of business.
But there was another one that was bought out, and they just converted the 2 points, right?
Well, they moved Massapequa, opened up.
Yep.
They took Amityville and put it into the mall.
Okay. Oh, the Toyota, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and then the person that owns Sunrise Toyota now owns the old Innovation Toyota.
Ah, wow. It's like a whole little chess game.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild how the car business works, how people buy, sell, and
all the Saturday morning meetings and trainings and motivational speeches and spiffs and perks and 85 hours a week, and you didn't get to see your family. It's crazy. It's crazy dedication.
But the good thing about the car business is you could take someone, you said like yourself, who did sprinklers, sold them, and now you made, let's just take a number, say you made $50,000 doing sprinklers. Now your first year doing cars, you're doing 120. Just a number.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
$70,000 more with no real sales training. And
that would be like the first thing that we would pitch somebody, say you can be out on the street in the 90-degree weather digging a hole for $10,000 a year, or $15,000 a year or whatever, being a laborer, or you can just sit here with a nice suit, make yourself $120
with a phone, and they give you everything you need. They give you a phone, computer, whatever you need it, to make your money.
It didn't even matter.
Wow.
And then when you became a GM, the money was just, especially back then.
Yeah. So
the car business grew a lot.
It did
in those years. From 83 to, I was in it from 83 to 2019.
Wow, you left in 19, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Finally.
Shit. What made you say that was enough? The hours, the money?
You know what it is? I left for work one day. I was driving into Queens because I was with the Star Group.
Okay.
I was driving into Queens and I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't not be with my kids. I want to see them.
Yeah.
The first 2, I kind of like worked every day, provided for them great, but I wasn't really there for, the basics of being a dad, because I guess my career was more important at that now that I have hindsight, but I didn't want to do that to my other 2 kids, so I decided to just work out the car business and get a job that I worked Monday through Friday and had the national holidays off. So when I got into real estate.
How big is that? And when I first started car business, I forgot the first major holiday. It might have been 4th of July. I remember telling the manager, said, hey, man, all right, I'll see you Monday. He goes, what do you mean Monday? I said, it's 4th of July tomorrow.
Yeah.
He goes, everyone works. I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized it was that, New Year's Day, some places Easter.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very wild.
You also had the, if if the holiday landed on Monday and the end of the month was on Saturday, you had to close on Monday and Tuesday with the factory. So you had to get an extra 2 days at the end of the month, because the end of the month closings were the worst.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone was fighting for position.
Yeah. You remember those days, MBDR and stuff, yeah.
The RDRs were just crazy.
Know,
it's crazy. You call up the factory and where am I at? 220. I need 230 to win. Yeah, 232, 235 was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
What you had to do.
So back then you had to call them in. You had to call them in?
No, you RDR'd them in through the computer, but you'd have to call the rep and say, where am I at exactly? Because everything was delayed by like a half hour.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And back then, when you first started, all the credit applications had to be faxed over, right? There was
everything had to be
no
faxed
dealer
over.
track where you did it, everything like that.
And when you had to run a credit app, you had to go onto this little computer that wasn't even attached. It was just a TRW machine.
That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
That was it. And there was no credit scores at that time. You had to go by you had to go by the zeros or the threes or the ones. Like if you had a credit card and it said 00000, you were good. You're paying on time. If it said 1 means you were 1 times late, 2 times late, 3 times late. Sorry, I can't prove you. I mean, just
really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my God,
crazy!
It just transformed, right?
It transformed to this unbelievable business.
It's a monster.
When I started working for my boss, he had 6 stores, and when I left, he had 27, 28. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. And then, so from the car business, he transitioned into motorsports for a little while.
Yes.
And that's where our paths crossed over there.
Yeah.
At that point.
I remember saying, hey, Mike, come take a look. I invited you to Massapequa.
I remember.
And you stood at the door, you know, in the Mike Cruz fashion, looking around. You're like, with those eyebrows.
Yeah, I remember.
And you're like, I'm in. I don't care what it is.
I remember you showed me the doc. I said, Tony, you can't give me the same money again, Ted. He goes, I can't. I'm going to give you more. And I looked at the doc and I said, there's no fucking way that's true. I remember looking at it.
It's true.
It was March. So you saw me March, and I came in like the beginning, maybe the end of March or beginning of April. And I look at the doc. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is real money. And then I kept saying to myself, there's no way you can fudge the Excel sheet though either.
It's true.
And it was unbelievable, man.
And the money was being printed.
And the guy who owned the store, man, the guy was a great advertiser, man.
He was a great advertiser.
I tip my hat to him, man. This guy, I learned a lot from him, and he definitely showed me how to maneuver when it comes to advertising and do things people endure, man.
He would say to me, "All right, so this is what's going on from 12 to 2. Get the BDC ready because
remember that
the phone. Yeah, he never had a BDC until I got there. So
remember that shit.
I put more car business into that business than he had originally.
Yeah, I remember we would say. It was between 12 and 2. All right, the phones are going to ring. It was Funkmaster Flex is going to drop it on Hot 97, right? Remember?
Yeah.
And BDC couldn't make any outgoing calls there and then, and the salespeople had to be ready just in case. And the appointments were set up.
Oh my!
It was a machine. It was a machine. I couldn't. Tony, I remember one Saturday, right? It was a Saturday. It was raining. We had Hot 97 live in the showroom, and the DJ's blast. Blah, 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 blah. And back then, you had to use the guest sheet log.
Yeah.
So I think, what is it, hold 13 on each page?
Yeah,
right?
13 exactly.
13 each page.
Yep.
And I think it was up to like 10 pages. And I had to handwrite all the shit in there. Sold.
Because if you didn't handwrite it, you would get that call from me and be like, Mike, why is this
Bad
incomplete?
credit.
Why is this incomplete?
Spot. And this one's name. This one came in. Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the day, I remember the end of the folders were this high, man. There was like 30 deals to put in the book, man.
It was the greatest.
It was. Let me tell you, man, that definitely changed my life, and I got to thank you for that, man. It definitely showed me some stuff, man.
Well, think about all that knowledge that you got from the auto industry and the motorcycle industry and how it affects you today and everything that you do.
Without a doubt.
There's no doubt the common sense that it laid into you.
Yeah.
You just use in your everyday life. It's just common sense. I totally took everything that I brought into the auto industry. And I have to tell you something, I got into it pretty early in '83, and it was kind of like an infant kind of thing, even though they know what they were doing. I brought a lot of different elements that they didn't even think of in the auto industry, like the typical magic marker on the guest sheet.
Yeah.
No one ever did that.
Yeah.
I just started.
The crossouts.
Yeah, I just started. And then the 4 square started, and then a lot of innovations came. So when I left the motorcycle industry, I got into real estate. In late 2019, I would say May 2019. And I brought all that car business knowledge right into real estate. I built a podium, and anybody that was working a house or commercial property had to come to me and talk about it, and we'd work it out. It was just,
it's better that way.
It's unbelievable.
It's
I have 16 employees now, and 12 of them are just on the phones all day long like a BDC.
Hey, listen, you know what? That podium's almost like in sports a timeout, or the pitching coach going to go talk to the pitcher. Hey, man,
Yeah, exactly.
you know this guy's waiting for that fastball, throw the slider.
Yeah.
You know, you need that. Two heads always get better than one. Yeah.
Of course, we discuss every single deal all day long, and I make sure my desk is in the middle of the office, and I hear every phone call, and I talk about every deal, and we make more deals than not because of that structure.
You're picking up stuff you could lose, yeah.
Of course.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, we dive right in. It's nice.
So how is the business now? How's the commercial real estate?
It's great.
Interest rates hurting you guys at all, or
buyer's a buyer? Whether
really?
You have to remember something. You're selling a $1 million building that's bringing you in $300,000 a year. Someone can have that paid off in 4 years. They're not afraid of an interest rate. They don't care. If the money makes sense, they spend their money.
Yeah, if it makes sense, makes money. Yeah,
yeah. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for something that's C-rated that they can improve on and jack the rates up, jack the rentals up. Think about it. You're living in an apartment for 5 years. It's got rug floors. It's got regular, utilities, stove, and then the guy buys it and puts in wood floors and puts in all chrome, and he says, "All right, it's another $300 a month." You're like, okay, you're getting something for it. So now you're bringing your bottom line way up because you're jacking up the rent. So it's great. So that property now was millions, now worth $1.6 million in a matter of no time. So
now let me ask you a question. Let's get into the COVID now with business.
Yeah.
Did COVID hurt you guys as bad as did other businesses, or?
It didn't, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we learned and adapted to do everything electronically. It forced us to work. When my office closed down because we weren't allowed to be in the office.
Where's your office located?
It was in Melville.
Okay.
I had since then left that company, and I'm now in Farming.
Okay.
So when they shut our office down, we weren't allowed in the office. Me and one other employee, we worked out of my basement and made phone calls after phone call, 100 phone calls a day each. And we still transacted in different states that didn't close. There were states that didn't close, and we were able to close deals all during COVID. In 2021, we exploded. In 2022, we killed it. In 2023, we just had a banner year. And here we are in 2024, and we're starting with a brand new company. And the last 3 months we put up almost 55 listings, which is unbelievable. Yeah,
well, I definitely see the COVID thing. It didn't hurt me. I was in the motorcycle business, and I would tell my guys, "Hey, listen, everyone's home.
Right?
They're gonna answer the phone.
Yeah, of course
they're gonna answer the phone.
Yeah,
and they were online.
Yep.
They were online, just buying.
How
many bikes I sold?
All that money.
They bought them online, sight unseen. I delivered them to the houses.
It's great.
And back then, I worked for a company. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but they were pushing the remote thing. Hey, do it remotely. Listen, in the car business, they told you not to years ago. Oh, they got to sign. They come to the dealership to sign. Right. Then they were like, "Hey, listen, it can be remotely done."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow, it was definitely amazing." I definitely learned something during COVID. The buyer was still the buyer, but they were online now. They were buying.
Right.
Yeah.
You had So the fishing pond got huge.
Huge.
I mean, even though it was very wide, all you had to do was just stick the pole in the water like it's in a bucket, and just jumped on, because we learned, like you did, that everything was online. So we dealt with title companies and we dealt with attorneys. Zoom. We just Zoomed everything, and we were doing Zoom closings, and people were very happy.
Yeah.
And the only time they saw the property is when they actually closed and went and looked at it. Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Really? Wow. So back then so if they didn't see the house until closing, right?
Well, commercial.
So commercial. So if they didn't see something, did you run into that a lot where people's like, "Oh, I didn't know this was wrong with it"?
Nope. Because
you had to describe everything pretty much.
Because even though the guy bought the property, he still had an inspection done, and he was really relying on the inspector.
Okay, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So the inspector and the banks, if they were getting a mortgage, the banks would, have to have an appraisal done. So they knew what their product was going to be.
Yeah.
So there was no surprises. And if there was, then the owner of the property would have to be responsible. He said, I got a brand new roof, and then the inspector agreed with him, and then the guy gets in, the roof falls in a year, the guy has to pay, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things like that.
Wow, it's amazing.
Commercial is pretty exciting business.
It's a lot easier than residential?
So much easier. Residential is very emotional.
Yeah, because they're first-time home buyer.
I don't want to sell my house.
I've been here for years. My mom's
had
had
my children here. You know, they don't want to. And residential is no product. You know, everything is, you know, tight right now. So everyone's getting full pops for their houses because there are none on the market. Not enough.
Really? Residential?
Yeah.
What about commercial?
Oh, I'm in all 50 states. So even if New York's dead, Alabama's rocking, Wisconsin, Michigan on fire.
And how different are the laws between states?
Tremendous difference.
So you got to learn all that.
Yeah.
You got to learn each state.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we take it one deal at a time, and we handle it just that way, which is great.
I always wondered about that. Like each state is different. Like the laws are different.
Not tremendously different, but you know, procedures are different. Okay. So even though their laws are pretty similar, but their procedures are all different.
I keep saying all the time, we're the United States of America, but each state is a different country. Right?
That's because of the governor.
It's just so weird, man.
Sorry about that.
But like each state, it's like it's its own country, man, because the laws are different, man.
Right.
You got blue states, red states, this, that.
Because nobody can govern the governor.
It's wild.
The governor is it.
Wild, right? The governor is it. Last say of all.
The governor has all the power.
Yeah.
Federal and everything. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, we live in a wild time right now.
Speaking of wild, did you see the roast on Tom Brady yet?
No, we were just talking about it, man. Fill me in with Kevin Hart and stuff like that.
He was dynamite.
Really?
He was incredible.
Yeah, he's a talented actor, man. He's very funny.
He was so funny. He was just so loose, and the F-bomb dropped all over the place. He had this thing he kept going back to. He kept going, fuck you, Tom.
Because Tom's right there, right? So he's on the podium and Tom's sitting right there.
He's like, and anyway, that girl said, fuck you, Tom. And it was just hilarious.
Really?
He was hilarious.
I heard a little piece of Kronk was on there, right? Gronkowski was, how do you say?
Gronkowski,
Gronkowski. I heard him, and they gave him like a lot of props for, I guess, all his jokes were by him. Like he didn't have someone write his jokes.
Yeah, he did. Right? But every comedian blasted him.
Who else was on it, Tony? Who else?
Well, actually, Belichick came out.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Will Ferrell came out. They had that girl, Nikki, somebody who's a comedian.
Oh, the blonde?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw her today. I actually saw bits and pieces of it. Yeah, talking about it.
She was making fun of Croc like he was a caveman, like because Tom Brady had that whole Bitcoin kind of problem in his past.
Yeah,
and she's like, even Kronk knew that's not real money. Like she talked like a caveman. It was hilarious. So it was pretty good. The roasting was excellent, and then of course Jeff Ross was there.
He's always there. Was he the host?
No, Kevin Hart was the host.
Kevin
no,
host?
He didn't host.
Usually Ross usually hosts, right? Wow, that's
normally.
Amazing.
They probably co-did it, but he really wasn't like 100% involved like he normally is.
Yeah.
But there was some, there was some serious roasting going on.
Yeah,
it was really good.
It's pretty wild when you see these athletes transition to actors. Some got it. Some have that. Yeah. They got it, man. And some just, they do a commercial here and then they have one or two lines and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing with Dan Marino when they talked about Ace Ventura?
No.
So Dan Marino, from what I saw, Dan Marino got the script for Ace Ventura. Mm-hmm. He read it. He goes, all right, I like it, and he goes, he wasn't too sure he was going to do it. And then he met Jim Carrey. He goes, all right, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I guess in Hollywood with movies, you can either take the lump sum up front or you can get royalties. Mm-hmm. So Dan Marino says he took the lump sum. And he said he kicked himself in the ass because it was a huge hit. Sure. Huge hit, man. And I remember his face. I was on a Pat McAfee show.
Wow.
That's what I saw on a Pat McAfee. Can I tell you something? He is excellent. You watch the show?
No.
Pat McAfee?
I have to.
He's absolutely phenomenal. Chris, what do you think? Pat McAfee? Oh, my God, man. This guy's so talented from, football. He does a lot of WWE now. And he's so animated, man. I watched Monday Night Raw the other night. And a wrestler came on, Jey Uso. And he has a thing where he just, puts his hands up like this. And fucking Pat McAfee's on the fucking table going like this. And Jey Uso has a thing called Yeet, right, Chris? yeet. And then Pat McAfee goes, yo, I think I just yeeted myself. And it's on top, man. Did you see that, Chris, when he did that? That's fucking amazing, man. This guy is what they call lightning in a bottle as an analyst or commentator. Right. He is fucking it, man. He's it.
Who was that that podcast guy that was on last night? He did a lot of the show.
Where?
He was on the roast.
I didn't watch the roast. Was Joe Rogan?
No.
It was Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer were on there.
Yeah. They ripped Bert.
Yeah. Did they?
They said that his liver was so black.
No way.
They ripped.
What channel was this on, Chris? What was this on?
Netflix.
I was on Netflix?
Hilarious.
Oh, my God. Netflix is something now, huh? Fucking sports now.
Everything.
Boxing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow. Remember the old channels? You had ABC, NBC,
yeah, but they're
CBS.
like, I don't even have a cable box anymore. So
you just stream, right?
Stream.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
If I want to watch something that was on ABC, I'd stream it.
I know.
It doesn't even matter.
I got the remote the other night. I'm in my backyard. I'm like, I handed it to my wife. I'm like, what the fuck is this? There's Hulu, Sling.
Everything.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah,
Apple TV.
If you look at the end of the month, you're probably paying $225 for streaming. Kids like Disney. They like this.
I was paying $300 for cable at one point.
I know. Just cable.
Between the boxes and phone and internet.
Wi-Fi. I have T-Mobile Wi-Fi.
That's good. Yeah, quick.
$50.
Wow. Holy shit.
$50 and it's lightning.
Wow. So what else, Tony? Tell me what else, man.
Nothing, wife, kids.
Yeah, how's that going? Everything good?
My son just got to learn his permit, which is great.
Nice. 16, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Lincoln, man. Yeah. Holy shit.
He's doing great. And he's got a 96.8 average in high school.
Really?
Yeah, he's a killer.
Any sports, anything? Or
No, neither one of them are in sports.
Really? Okay.
I tried to throw the ball and they're like,
Yeah, it's wild, right? You think like you're a big athlete guy. And just,
and I am. I play a lot of sports myself, But that's, that's it. I mean, the family's doing great. The family unit's doing great. Everything's great in my town.
Yeah, you look good, man. You look great. You came in, like you look thin. You look like, you came in happy, man.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
Came in like a wrecking ball. Who's that? Oh, Katy Perry? No, who's that? What's that girl's name? The little Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, that's Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Think so?
It's crazy as Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan's not crazy.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan's a big Christian now, man.
I know. It's like a born again, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
But why? Why do you have to go into... what was the story with that?
I don't know. You know what I keep seeing with the wrestlers? So I watch a lot of documentaries. I'm a huge wrestling fan because I wrestled when I was younger. So this stuff, when you're on the road, man, you're a rock star.
Right.
So they were living like rock stars. They were doing, X, Y, and Z drugs. They weren't faithful to their wives.
Right, of course.
They were doing whatever it took. You think these guys cut promos, they were straight? You ever see The Ultimate Warrior? It looked like he was going to blow a blood vessel right through his eyeballs. Or Randy Savage. And these guys, oh, yeah. Like,
even The Rock.
They were whacked out of their minds. I don't think The Rock ever messed around with certain things.
No, but when he gets into that intense...
That character, he becomes The Rock.
Becomes The Rock.
You got to give that guy the utmost credit, man. For having $5 in his pocket to being the biggest star in the world right now. The things he does, the foundations and stuff. But like I keep saying, like the wrestlers, I watched a documentary the other day. It was an old NWA, and it shows the back locker room of the wrestlers.
Wow.
And it was a VHS. So back then, what was it called? Pulling back the curtain. Is that what they call it? That's the phrase. It's called pulling back the curtain. You never knew what these guys did backstage. Like if you saw a good guy and the bad guy was the other side of the room, they weren't even in public. They were still those characters. Now, they travel together because everyone knows it's a show.
Right.
But they pulled back the curtain on this one, and this just came out a couple of years ago. It showed all them backstage. They're doing their thing, if you know what I mean.
Of course.
And they're like, woo, yipped up, eyeballs popping out of their head. And it's pretty wild because you see like the Road Warriors on there, Lex Luger, Sting, and like even Sting now. Sting's a Christian. Shawn Michaels Christian. Like these guys.
What is it? You have to do something so terrible that you have to repent after a while? It just doesn't...
I guess they feel like, hey, man, so many years of my life I did so much foul things. Maybe it's time to give this a shot. Maybe I'll feel better.
They always say the Lord forgives, right?
Yeah, listen, he forgave the Romans, man.
He forgave everybody.
How do you do that? If he can forgive, man, for that, then everybody can pretty much forgive,
Of course.
Right?
Everything from Egypt to the Romans. Amazing.
Wow, I know.
It's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, so Hulk is totally
He looks good, man. He's 70. I think he's 70 years old. He looks
crazy.
good. He looks good.
You know, when I was growing up as a kid, again, I was born in 1960. So when I saw a 50-year-old guy, it was 80. Like I couldn't even believe. And try to think about how far everything's come in time with refrigerating meat and you know, cooking and everything. All that diseases were gone, but they still looked like they were 80 when they were 50.
I know. And it wasn't that. And listen, and drugs weren't too rampant then, you know. But like you think about it, you're right. You're like, I saw a 50-year-old man then. Like now, he looks like he was 80.
Now you look at a 78, 80-year-old guy, and they look like they're 50. Totally went the opposite way
I see
around.
doctors. I went to my doctor the other day. He told me he was 70 something. I was like, Jesus. But hey, when you're a doctor, you can prescribe yourself what you need. You can turn back that clock. There's things you can turn back the clock, man.
I don't know. Didn't work for Michael Jackson too much, but
no, but I think he went a little nutty with the face stuff, man. You know,
he went a little nutty with sleeping and waking and sleeping and waking. Man. Elvis too. Elvis.
Yeah, man. You know what? Could you imagine being that big of a superstar and having to have that on your shoulders every day?
No.
To walk out that door and you are the biggest pop star or you're the king of rock and roll, and you walk out the door and the paparazzi's in your face, man. What kind of life can you have?
I would love that for a couple of weeks,
and that's it.
And that's, yeah,
and you lose your mind.
It's like staying in Florida for a couple of weeks. It's excellent.
Yeah, and you want to come home after.
Yeah, you want to just be like, I need a little snow.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Wow,
bro, that is, you know, if you really think about it, times have changed tremendously
with everything.
And they say that your kids are not being brought up in the same world that you were brought up in, so you have to remember that as a parent today.
Without doubt.
They're not. They're just not. You know, you don't want to give your 4-year-old an iPad and a phone, but if they don't have it, they're an outcast. Like, they got to be current with what everybody's doing, unfortunately. You know, what did we have to do? You know, I had my driver's license at 16. I flew to Florida when I was 15. I took my road test and my permit. I came back to New York, and I was fully licensed at 16.
Yeah.
So you have to do, you know, if we didn't have a car when we were 16 or 17, we were outcasts. How can you not have a car and a job?
Yeah.
So, you know, the world has changed where we had to have jobs at 16, and now the kids today have to have electronics.
You know, it's wild, though, but jobs, like, you can get a job now doing anything. You can get a job from home now.
Anything.
So when people say, I can't get a job, you know, that's bullshit.
Yeah, you can.
That's bullshit.
100% get a job anywhere doing anything.
Anything. You do Uber Eats. Fucking internet.
Anything. It's just if you're lazy, there is no jobs.
Yeah.
You can definitely feed yourself. You can have a pretty good living.
You got to find it. Some people just don't find a way, man.
You have to find a way.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? You know, listen, again, when I was a kid, the average person left their house at 17, 18, graduated school, either went to college or had a really good job and got married by the time they're 20. You had 2 or 3 kids by the time we were 25, 26.
And you had your house.
You had your house. Now, the kids are leaving home at 33, 34. The parents taking care of them. 35, parents still taking care of them. Yeah. Then they decide, wow, the houses are like $600,000 now. I got to rent.
Yeah.
You buy a house.
How do they do it? I look at, you know, it's funny thing you said that, like when people buy a house, I would look at people's credits, right? I was doing finance and car business. And I would see the credit application would say, you made $36,000 a year. And then I would look at the mortgage. I'm like, the house is $600,000. How the fuck did you get this house?
Right. Well, because the mortgage business was a mirror. The application came in an envelope with a little mirror.
Yeah.
And the instructions said, put it under your nose. If we see it, you know, film up, you're approved. That means you're alive, and it didn't matter.
There was a big
2007.
Boom. I remember.
2008 it died.
I remember. I pulled equity out of my house. I swear to God, I pulled my house at 240. My first house selling. It came back appraised at like 600.
Everybody.
I said, how the fuck is it? And my mortgage guy was, hey, Mike, you want to do this now? I was like, what do you think? He goes, you need to get your ass down here within the next week. Let's do this now.
Right.
And sure enough, this guy closed my refinance maybe 2.5 weeks. Maybe
it was like 4%.
4%. My payment went up a little bit.
Yeah.
I went back up to 30 years, and I took the cash out.
Yeah, of course.
It's wild.
But you know what the big thing was? You would be able to buy a $2 million house on the water anywhere in Nassau, Suffolk, Long Island, New York. And you only paid interest only for the first 5 years. You're paying like $1,800 a month to live in a $2 million house.
And then after that, what was it?
Then when the 5 years came up, you're like, all right, we got to pack, honey. Get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. It's going to be like $9,000 a month. So they just rented the house for 5 years at $1,800 a month. And they left, and everybody did that, and every house was left into the bank's name. And that's why the crisis happened. When the crisis
What year was that? What year was that, Tony?
2008.
So that was the same thing almost with the motorcycle business, remember? Because you could buy a motorcycle on a credit card.
$39 a month for the first 2 years.
And it was a $20,000. Well, I think it was $99 for a $20,000 limit.
Yes.
$39 was like $10,000, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, all right.
Very expensive helmets.
20. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
You want boots with that?
Need vintage.
Need gloves.
Oh, is that your girlfriend? She want a jacket too? The best is when you saw him with the shopping cart. You look, it's like, oh, yeah. You'd be like this. You start, you're looking like this.
How you not gonna?
You're like, oh my God. Oh my.
Meanwhile, the showroom wasn't big enough for a shopping cart. But
wow.
guy had, listen, you got a clear visor. You want one for the sun, and you want one that's purple, and you want one that's red.
Oh, the visors? Yeah. It was a great business. Listen, like I said, man, I made a lot of money in that business, and I definitely enjoyed it. It definitely launched me to what I'm kind of doing now in my life from the motorcycle business, you know, and I definitely enjoyed it. I met some great people in doing that, man.
Listen, the industry's great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun business. It was definitely a fun business. It was 100%. A lot different than it was. You ran it like the car business.
Yeah, ran it just like the car business.
But it was fun. Like we went to work with T-shirts, jeans. You're the only one who came with a suit. I was like, why the fuck you wearing a suit, man? I hope you don't like us wear suits.
I tried to keep it.
I know, because you had to be the guy. If the shit hit the fan or you had to be the front guy, I understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so it was really good. I mean, you definitely, you came away with a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
You got a pretty good bank account out of it.
Without a doubt.
You learned a lot of new stuff. That was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, too.
It was good people. We worked with good people, man.
Yeah, they weren't. Everybody was making money, so there was nobody miserable.
You know what they say? It's all fun with a pocket full of money, right?
No.
Is that the fucking saying?
It's always fun with money.
Fun with money. People say money killed my happiness. I'm gonna have to say that's a lie.
I don't agree.
Yeah, neither do I. I enjoy money.
When you don't think you need it is when you get it.
Yeah.
It's when you beg for it is when you don't get enough.
Yeah.
So if you work hard and you set yourself up the right way, there should be no problems.
And so many people are scared to transition out of the car business because they're so comfortable. Like, I meet people I talk to.
Golden handcuffs.
Like, I can't believe you're doing this and that. And this. I said, there's nothing different between me and you. I got tired. Like, I wanted to have a life, man. Like you said, I missed birthday parties. I missed 4th of July.
So many.
And it was so hard for me to explain to people that didn't know the car business because the majority of my friends didn't know the car business. So for me to tell them, hey, man, I got to work. What do you mean you got to work? It's 4th of July.
Right.
Dude, I work on New Year's Day. What do you mean you work New Year's Day? Dude, I work New Year's Day.
Yeah, I don't make $60,000 a year like you. I got to work.
And then you're a manager, GM of a store. At the end of the month, you're there till 3, 4 in the morning sometimes. And
how many
people
how many 3, 4 in the morning?
I could imagine.
The months I put in.
I could imagine, man. It's very tough. Unless and if you're with a partner who doesn't understand that, girlfriend, wife, it makes it even more tough. Your phone's ringing. Where are you? You can't still be there at this time.
That's impossible. Who's that girl in the background?
The girl, the biller, who's still here too.
It's true.
Right?
It's
wow.
True.
But we both gave. Yeah, we both got out.
We paid our dues.
And like I said, I made great people, and man, I still friendly with a lot of people. Some people I can care less for, because they were never my cup of tea. But did I not learn stuff from some people? 100%.
Yeah,
I would never say anything bad.
I learned stuff from the janitor. I learned stuff from everybody. So that's how you get really, really super experience. You just listen with both your ears, and you only talk a little bit.
Yeah, I always listen, man. You can always learn. I keep telling people, it doesn't matter your age. You can always learn something.
You learn something new every day.
Right? It's amazing. It's amazing.
What you got to do is pay attention. And there's definitely, like you said, plenty of jobs. The car business today, there's still a lot of jobs in the auto industry, but it's so different because they never, for the last couple of years, they don't have to learn how to sell.
Yeah, it was easy.
They just give it away.
Yeah, people bought. They didn't care.
Brown? Okay, it's an extra $5,000.
People said yes.
But like, okay.
Tony, they have to sell again now.
Now they have to learn how to sell, and
it's over.
And they're all falling apart.
It's over. It's sad because I've seen salesmen who were so great before COVID, then they got into the COVID cluster, I kind of called it, and now just like, oh man, it's tough. Dude, it's not tough. You're like a fighter. You got punched in the face by the left hook, so block left now and get back to what got you to the fight.
React the right way.
I mean,
it's just that easy. Just keep reacting.
Get back, man.
Yeah, the auto industry is still very good.
Yeah.
But you just have to learn how to sell again. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Listen, the auto industry, think about it. You can go in there with no experience.
Yep.
You don't have to pay back any type of loans.
Yep.
And you can make $100,000 right out the bat.
Right out of the gate.
Where do you get that? I never know of another business that ever did that.
No, don't listen to TikTok.
Yeah.
They always tell you on TikTok and stuff, oh, I make, $10,000 a month sitting at home. Yeah. Everybody's a salesperson today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all glamour on the internet.
Auto industry's great. Real estate is great.
Yeah.
It just gives you your freedom
Yeah.
to make a really good living and not be tied down.
Is a lot of tests you have to take for real estate to get like certified and stuff, Tony?
You just take one test. Well, I took a couple of tests because I'm a broker.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a test. It lasts for, you're certified for 2 years with the Department of State. And then after 2 years, you can get your broker license. And once you have your broker license, everything's on you. So you have all the people working under you, so which is great.
So now brokerless. So you have other agencies contact you if they want a piece like your property that you're listing, basically.
Yeah, they'll call me and say, hey, I got a buyer for one of your properties, and we just talk about it. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
But the thing is that with commercial real estate, a lot of stuff takes so long because real estate people get into real estate to have a life. So they're not calling you back right away. They give you 2 or 3 days before they get back to you. You need a checklist. You need a floor plan. You need a survey. I got to look for it. I don't know where that is. So if you're not dynamically on top of these people, it would take you 9 months to close a deal. You have to be like phone call, text, email, phone call, text, email, phone call, text, email, constantly. Like the system we have in our office is just flawless. We're on top of every single aspect of it.
That's why you guys are growing.
Yes. Yeah. So if we sign a landlord up, we just tell them, give us your lawyer's name, give us all the contacts, and we'll just get everything done. You don't have to do anything. Because if we leave it up to them, they're already millionaires. They just want to go to Puerto Rico. They want to go to Asia. They want to go to Aruba. I'll be back in 3 weeks. Let me know how it goes. And they don't work. They just shut their phones off and they're done. So you have to handle everything yourself if you really want to get it done.
So now question. So say if someone sees a piece of property today
Mm-hmm.
and it's a cash deal,
Mm-hmm.
that the funds are there, they can verify the funds. How quick is a closing for something like that?
The quickest I closed the property was 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then what comes with the closing of property? What comes with that? Like the title search and all that other stuff?
Yeah. You typically have an appraisal. You have an inspector go in there. Depending what kind of property it is, if it's a gas station, you have to do an environmental of phase 1 to make sure that there's no contamination. If it's multifamily, then you got to send out these letters to every tenant so they can write down exactly what they're paying or rent, because the landlord's never going to say to you, by the way, this guy's behind a year on his rent. So when we talk to the tenants, they tell us what's going on. Yeah, the heat's been broken, there's no air. And
Of course.
You find out all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to be really smart and know exactly what to do. But you can close a deal quick, 3-4 weeks if it's cash.
See a lot of cash?
No, not really. The cash people are the people that say, hey, you got your property for $1 million, I'll give you $300,000 cash. You're like, please.
Try to steal it?
Yeah, we're not Walmart. Give me a break.
I see a guy online on Channel 12. I don't want to say his name.
I know who he is. HH. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I buy you home. I buy you home. I buy you home.
Of course.
Like, who is this cash or is this he's getting the money? Like, I can't.
Of course, he's just looking for the home that's almost foreclosed. There's something called list pendants, right? List pendants is a document that goes out to everybody. It's a legal forum that lets you go in there and see who's in list pendants. List pendants is the time just before your house goes into foreclosure. So you got about 4 or 5 weeks before the courts actually say it's foreclosed. So they give you a chance to get an attorney or do whatever. So you buy the list pendants list. And you call the people up and you say, hey, you're either going to sell your property or go to foreclosure, or let me sell your house for you. Let me short sale it. And that's what this guy does. He just gets in and looks for the people that are so desperate to get out of their houses and scoops them up.
Do you remember when people getting foreclosed in a house? Maybe like 07, 08 was big, right?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And
08 was even bigger. 09.
09, right?
Yeah.
So I remember people reading that people were able to stay in the house because the mortgage companies couldn't produce the original documents to foreclose on them for some reason. Like you had to show an original signed document by the customer, right?
Some of the banks didn't do their diligence.
Because they didn't, I guess, because their mortgage got sold so many times over that the existing company had the original paperwork, and these people were able to stay in the house for years. I was reading, right?
Some people were in. I know a guy. I believe you know him too. He's in his house 22 years without paying his mortgage. Wow. Because they can't find his paperwork. They still don't know where it is.
Holy crap.
22 years.
But he can never sell, but he can live there rent-free forever.
No, he can sell it.
Oh, he can?
Yeah, of course. He can sell his house. It's got value.
But what about all that back money?
Comes out of whatever he sells it for. Doesn't matter. So let's say he owed, for 22 years, he owed, what was it, $250,000 back then?
Yeah.
$300,000 was a mansion 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Now the house is worth $1.5 million. He's got major equity. They can't foreclose on you when you have equity. It just doesn't make sense. And COVID did the same thing. COVID just said, just forget about it. Let them stay there.
Yeah.
Just let them stay there.
Even people like rent stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, it's tough.
Yep.
Could you imagine being an owner of a building and everyone in that building says, hey, COVID, you ain't getting paid.
I'm not paying you.
And then the guy has a mortgage on it.
And you can't throw him out.
Oh,
the state was backing the people up. They're like, sorry.
Can't turn the heat, can't turn the water off, so you're paying for electric.
Tried. Yeah, you had to pay for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, we sold a lot of buildings because of that. A lot of multifamilies.
I couldn't take that, man.
Yeah.
I would probably lose my mind.
There's nothing you could do about it. I mean, but you got to remember something.
But it's morally, it's not correct. Like you're living off someone else's buck, man.
Right.
That's not cool,
right.
Man.
People took total advantage of it.
Yeah.
But the mortgage company stepped up and said, "Okay, we'll defer you for 2 or 3 years. We'll put it on the back end of your loan."
Yeah.
And it helped a lot of the landlords out.
The car business that too. The bank, a couple of car manufacturers that, right?
Sure,
yeah, so that. I never heard that until COVID. People like, "Oh, they put it on my back." I'm like, really?
You can do it. You can backload.
And it didn't hurt their
credit with that.
It didn't hurt their credit either.
No, it just extended their lease. If their lease was 36, they went to 38. And they all forgot about it. They're like, what do you mean I owe 38? You know?
Yeah. Oh, now you got amnesia. Yeah.
Sure, when you didn't. Yeah.
This email says different.
Because they all forget, right?
Yeah.
You get what you want, and then they forget about you.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, commercial real estate's it's a booming business, man.
Yeah. You got a life, man, right?
It's a booming business. I have a life, Mike.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
You can't put a value, a price on that time. You cannot, man, because you can't get time back.
Watching your kid go to bed, watching him brush his teeth, waking up in the morning with him. It's just
4th of July, having a barbecue.
Memorial
Day weekend. Woo, 3 days. When's the last time you heard that?
Since 2019, it's been pretty nice. You want to know the funny thing is I reach out a couple of buddies of mine. I'm like, hey, I need a price on the car. And they're like, bro, it's the last day of the month. I'm like, oh, I forgot all about that. They're like, call me in 2 days when I'm done closing.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sorry, I don't have any closes like that anymore.
So could there be a number that would drag you back into that business? Would there be a magic number or a magic contract that, hey, man?
No way.
No, huh?
No way. There's no contract ironclad enough, first of all. And they need, right now, the auto industry needs old school guys to put it back into what it used to be.
Yeah.
The guys that trained every day, the guys that taught their salespeople how to be salespeople, how to take care of the client. The auto industry needs that again. You need to have the Mercedes-Benz mentality in Toyota, Nissan, and Honda in order to make the people feel special. Nobody's making you feel special anymore. You feel like crap because you walk in there like, I want a blue Honda. No, we only got green. Take that and get out.
They just do that. COVID, that's how it worked.
That's how it worked, and that was it. And you overpaid for it. But I'm telling you, the splashback's going to be real hard in 3 years.
Without a doubt. It's already, I already see them. I see these cars coming off lease. They're coming off lease. You can't buy them. Yeah. These people pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 over MSRP. Yeah. So now, what do you think? How much you buying off lease? You can't buy it off lease.
They're just not going to play around anymore. The car business is going to take a big hit eventually.
Yeah, I think they're getting hit now. I think they're hurting now, and it's sad because, like you said, we both have friends that are owners and still in the business.
Yeah.
And it sucks because these guys, they still work hard. They still do the hours. And they still fucking grind, man. But times change.
Yeah, but if I had the only coffee shop in America, I'm not going to charge $75 a cup. I'm going to make sure that I do what's right. And then when all the other coffee shops open up, they'll remember me for what I did right.
Yeah.
I know it sounds old and cliche, but people have really, really good memories when they come to, again, I was in the car business in 1983, and we just ransacked people until 1989. Yeah. And in 1990, people just taught their kids, don't buy this way because that's how I got screwed. I want you to buy this way. And that's when negotiating really became unbelievable. And you were selling cars $2,000 under cost. Do you remember?
Yeah.
$2,000 under cost because we were stair-stepped. The factories would give you 1,000 back if you hit 100. They give you 2,000 back if you hit 200. They give you 3,000 back if you hit 300. So we would lose $3,000 on a car, knowing we're going to get $600,000-700,000 back from the factory. It's insane.
Wild, right?
Insane.
Yeah, and the customers knew. Some people did their research.
Of
They
course.
knew what they can get it for. And now it's so much now it's so much easier. You just type it in, blip, blip, blip.
Tells you everything.
Well, there's holdback, there's dealer cost, and these are the rebates. I don't qualify for this. I qualify for this. I qualify for that. Okay, so I can buy for this.
Yeah,
And they
run
know.
my credit online, and they'll tell me I'm approved.
Yeah, pretty
Now
well.
Amazon selling cars.
No way.
Amazon selling cars, brother.
Wow.
Just think about once they really get in the groove and figure it out, it's going to be insane.
Listen, this guy locked up the market. He put a lot of people out of business. Toy
Lots
stores,
of people, and they're
hardware
still
stores.
going out of business.
I know. Bookstores. Bookstores are gone.
Everything.
You ever see a bookstore anymore?
He started as a bookstore.
I know. How wild is that?
He's yeah.
You listen, you got to tip your hat to the guy, man.
How do you not?
How do you not acknowledge what that man's done? He changed the world and changed the mind.
I
world.
saw a video with him when he was in his garage. That's how Amazon.
Oh, with the sign?
The wires running on
Yeah.
it was sick. How sick was that?
You
He
ever
was
see
a
that?
skinny nothing. He was
Even Apple, you see the Apple, the first Apple store, Harley Davidson, how they start out?
yeah.
You got to have vision.
Everything. I
Vision.
love documentaries.
So do I. I love them, man.
Love them.
I
love them
I
to
take
death.
it deep. My wife's like, you don't watch that shit again?
Yeah.
I said, hell yeah. I think I missed something the first time.
What about that show? You never knew that. I never knew that. You ever seen? I love that.
yeah.
It tells you the little things like how'd they come up with why did they call it a toothpick and they give such good origins about that stuff. It's
I love
pretty
that
cool.
stuff, man. Everything, how Jello started or
It's-
Post cereal and the brothers were fighting. One was a doctor and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Posting Kellogg's fought over the
Right.
cereal war.
How one guy bought all the mills to make the brand and then he fucking bought the patent so no one else can buy the mill. Remember that?
That's
That
crazy.
fucking guy.
I love
man.
shit like that.
So do I.
I love watching documentaries. My wife looks at me like, "Are you kidding
My
me?
wife too. She's like,
What the hell are you watching?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
again, again.
Yeah, I'll watch it over and over
Yeah,
again.
Me too, man.
It's just like watching Tyson. I'll watch anything with Tyson on it.
Mike Tyson.
He is unbelievably fitter than he's probably ever been fit.
So what do you think about this upcoming fight now?
It's an annihilation.
I would believe that. I in my heart I believe that because I believe in Mike Tyson. Like I said
Yeah.
the last podcast that Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, my two greatest
Yes.
icons
I
in
agree.
combat
I
sports
agree.
to me.
I agree.
But like you said, times change.
Times do change.
So you got to keep people glued to the screen for the show before the show.
Yes, of course.
So I don't know. I don't listen. What I want to happen and what's going to happen, I hope what I want to happen is going to happen, which is total domination within 30 seconds. It's
Well,
what I
you-
like to see.
You would figure that's going to happen, but there's the curtain that you can't look behind, and you don't know what they agreed on.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, just like WWE,
Yeah.
who knows what their plans are.
Yeah. And
I
like
mean-
everybody else we said, like the Jeff Bezos and everybody, you got to tip your hat to the Paul brothers.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
changed the game. Listen, this
They
kid's
changed
coming in. He's not a boxer. He just started boxing. He was a Disney kid and started fighting. And he's going. He went 8 rounds or something with Fury's brother,
Yeah.
Tommy Fury. He's a boxer. He's a pro
Yeah.
boxer.
Yeah.
He went 8 rounds with him, and that was a close fight. And he put him down.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Anderson Silva. He fought Anderson Silva.
Disney kid.
Disney kid.
Amazing.
It's the mind, man.
It's just how you promote the people. What you see in them.
Yeah.
People are geniuses, man. What they come up with is crazy, right?
Especially now, right? You ever thought you'd see this?
No.
You ever thought you see this? You ever see the
No.
side by side? I said, this is Mike Tyson. He was 16, and this is Jake Paul at 16. Jake Paul is doing some Disney skit, dancing, and Mike Tyson's annihilating a heavy bag and a 40 or 30-something-year-old man.
I know.
You know?
It's just
It's amazing. All right? It's amazing.
I can't see the physicality being an even match. I just can't. He's just a monster. And he has skill that Jake Paul just doesn't have.
And that's natural skill.
Yeah, it's
that he was
natural.
born, like he said, he was born to do this.
Yeah.
It's
right.
fucking, when you, like you said, like what did Joe say? Because when someone tells you they were born to do shit like that, you don't fuck with someone like
Yeah,
that.
you can't. You
just
just can't. Because now he's got so much to prove. But also, you offer him $5 million, he's got a lot to prove there too. He's got to take the money.
Tony, I think $5 million's way under
I know.
what this
30,
thing's going
40
to
million,
do.
whatever
This
it's
thing's
gonna
going to do fucking numbers.
I know.
Like it's
All I'm saying is, someone says to you, Mike, I need you to throw the fight for $10 million.
I don't think I do it, man. I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm talking? Like I don't see Tyson do.
All right,
listen. You know,
$20 million.
You don't know. Listen, you don't know.
No, you don't.
I just hope he doesn't tarnish his legacy by some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because even though they're saying it's exhibition, to me that's fucking Mike Tyson.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know, when
I can't
he lost,
see anything else, other outcome coming in other than that.
when Mike Tyson lost the fight, it's like we all lost because he
Correct.
was fucking Mike Tyson.
And
Like
Douglas-
Ali too, man.
Buster Douglas, I mean.
Well, you know,
That was the most biggest, and I was devastated after that fight. I'm like, is he picking up his mouthpiece with his glove?
I know,
What
but
the-
but you see the interviews after he
Yeah.
was partying, man. He just
Yeah,
you
I
know
know.
he lost that thing, man. But he's still the baddest man on the planet to me.
baddest.
You know, and I say Ali
baddest.
was one of the baddest too, and one of the best sportsmen out there.
He was so egotistical,
So Ali,
but it was entertainment.
he wanted to watch.
He wanted to tell people, "I am the best."
Uh-huh.
Watch, and then when he did the footstep dancing,
Oh, the
and
dance!
stuff, he was
Oh
just-
man, with the jab, just moving, pop, pop. He was popping them,
he
man.
didn't even care.
When he knocked out Foreman,
Yeah,
oof. And Foreman was supposed to be the guy to just club him to death,
club him
and
to
he
death.
fucking took him out.
But he's got a pretty good stove, Foreman, the George Foreman grill.
Can you
Nice.
imagine that? And you know that was offered to someone else before, and I forgot who. They offered it to somebody, and they turned it down, and Foreman took it.
Does he have like 6 kids named George?
George, yeah, he does.
Crazy.
His story is amazing too. How he came
Yeah.
back. You see that?
Yeah.
You see the movie Big George Foreman?
Yeah.
How great is that
Great,
movie, right?
Great. I love it. I love
Fucking-
all that stuff.
You saw what happened when he went in the locker room?
Hulk
And-
Hogan.
Oh, it was Hulk Hogan?
It was Hulk Hogan.
That
They
was
offered the
Hulk?
grill to
Yeah.
Hogan first? Holy shit, man.
Wow.
The Hogan grill instead of Foreman grill. So it was, I knew it was somebody.
How can Hulk must have just thought he was too big?
He probably thought he was too big. And now look at Foreman. Fucking, what's the net worth between Hogan and fucking Foreman right now, Chris? You know what that is?
No, but Hogan missed the voicemail.
Oh, that's what happened?
Oh my
That's what happened.
God.
He missed the
Holy shit.
There was no text
man.
back then, so he couldn't
No.
get a text.
Fucking Foreman. But you see the Foreman movie?
That'd
when-
be a good show, though, right?
What?
Listen, the things that you could have been if you had a phone that could text you.
Could you imagine?
The things you never answered or you missed a call that maybe could have been the next biggest role.
Could you imagine?
To make a show like that.
Could you
would be pretty
imagine?
Cool.
Like Foreman, the money he's make, like Hogan must kick himself in the ass, man. You know, even actors, they don't take these roles and then they turn into these fucking massive roles.
Monsters, like these people that were nobodies got the role. Like Stallone, right? He made his own movie for nothing.
You know why? Because he was hard to cast. They couldn't cast him. So, if you're not going to cast me, I'll write my own shit. That's what Vin Diesel did.
Right.
Vin Diesel couldn't
but,
get casted.
But they offered him like $50,000 to act. He's like, "Oh, I'll take it."
Yeah.
Because finally they offered him hundreds of thousands for the script. He's like, "No,
Yeah. I got to be
Yeah.
Rocky. Yeah, I got to
I
play
got
Rocky.
it's me. That's who I am."
It's like Chaz Palminteri in Bronx Tale.
Yeah,
Like, De
yeah.
Niro wanted to buy it. He goes, "Oh, listen, you could do it, direct it, but I'm playing Sonny.
Yeah,
No problem."
yeah. He was a
No
bus
problem.
driver.
Yeah. How
De
wild
Niro.
is that? It's wild stories, man.
I know.
We live in wild times right now, Tony.
Right now, in 5 years, we'll be talking about the crazy shit that's going on in 2024.
Right? Yeah, I know. Anything you want to wrap it up with, Tony? We're getting towards the end. Anything you want to leave out, man, or finish off with here?
No, Mike. It's just again, I love seeing you. You're a great guy. I
Appreciate
know
you,
you for
man.
a long time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you being a star on the show, man. It's fucking awesome having you
Yeah,
here.
I love it. I love it. This
You
is
look
great.
good, man. I like these stories to go back down memory lane, man.
It's nice. It's nice just to have a conversation about
Right?
what we used to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we talk a lot,
Yeah.
we still talk about stuff a little bit deeper, and
Yeah.
you could just branch off onto a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just wrap it up is just stay real, man.
That's it.
Let the Lord guide you.
Yeah.
Let him guide me.
Yeah.
And
Said he'll never do you wrong.
life is good. No, he
won't do
does
you
what he does.
That's it. He might teach you something. You might not like it,
Yeah.
but you got to learn from it, man.
Every day it's a lesson, brother.
Yeah, that's
By
it.
the way, this stuff is good, man.
Yeah, electrolyte. Yeah,
It's excellent.
The beverage, yeah, man. It gives you a little boost, man.
Yeah,
It's good. I like
yeah.
it. I enjoy it.
Lots
Like I was
of
feeling a
love.
little down when I got here. I was a little tired. Had a long weekend. And pumped this a little bit, man. It was like IV. It was like
Yeah.
a drip.
I mean, through the
IV
throat.
through the throat, yeah.
I love it.
All right, but Tony, it was great having you on, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
Mike,
you, brother.
definitely.
Always, man.
Absolutely.
Yep. Till next time. You got it, man. Thank
got
you.
it. Thanks.
Bye.